Hello, this is Startup City speaking and Boa Online. I would like to touch on a very sensitive matter when it comes to being on this planet, and it's about relationships. I had just listened to a clip from Steve, and it was about how a lady now reaching the age of 35 is looking for a man of a particular type, and she says she cannot find a guy and of a particular type. And when she was asked that what type of man she would want, she couldn't really answer and pinpoint. And the truth of the matter is that people need to realize that when they are growing up, they are being told you need to face your career, you need to be this way and that way, you need to achieve your goals, you need to have dreams and aspirations in order to take care of yourself when you're older. So eventually, they now meet each other as a couple, uh, wanting to become a couple. And what happens is now the battle of wills, where each are now fighting against what one is supposed to be to one another. And they're forgetting that from childhood they have been told to be individuals and stand up for themselves and earn for themselves. And now all of a sudden, somebody who they just met is now telling them, oh no, you have to be like this, and what you're doing is wrong, and you have to be this type of father, and you have to be this type of husband and this type of brother. And that cognitive thing happens in the brain where they, they now start questioning themselves. Did they really live dreaming about something about themselves in reality, or were they just fed unnecessary words by their parents, and now they are having to clash between each other about whom they are supposed to be like? And before you know it, parents are interfering and saying, no, I brought up my son or I brought up my daughter to be this way and that way in life, and now all of a sudden my son comes back to me and says my wife is not happy with the kind of career I chose and what I'm supposed to do. And before you know it, the two people who initially met and just had physical attraction towards each other are now fighting each other because of the dreams and aspirations that both their parents had given them when they were younger. So eventually what happens is that there is need for a realization at some moment that, listen, we are two individuals that met by circumstances, and we had aspirations before we met, and being in a relationship, wanting to have children and be together, had a lot to do with what we were told, that we have to be in a relationship, we have to have children, we have to have build a house, we have to have this and that. So this is the core to why relationships fall apart. One now brings in, oh, my friend says that your wife should be like this, my other friend says that your husband should be this way, and before you know it, they're breaking apart. And then when children appear, it even gets worse, because children are now taking their own attention away from the couple in order to sustain their lives. One now becomes a father, the other one becomes a mother, and they are now disagreeing on how children are supposed to be brought up. For crying out loud, just wake up and remember, if you can, that as a child you had your own dreams, you were given dreams and aspirations by other people. So now you have to stand up for what type of dreams and aspirations, because at the end of the day, if you're not happy with yourself as a person, the kind of goals you want to achieve in your life, and you were just given mundane, oh, you must be a dad, you must be a husband, you must be a friend, you must be this. How about being just a human being who is living a life, trying to understand the world and trying to understand himself in the midst of the world? I would quote a little bit of Christianity into it, where people have to be born again at the age of 33 to rename yourselves, remember yourselves, be reborn, choose your own paths, and find your own dreams, new aspirations, because all that you have been told before by other people, who even if they are your parents, now is under question, because circumstances in this life can hardly be bothered whether you are a father, a mother, a sister, or a brother. If something is happening in the society, if something is questioning your livelihood, there is no amount of self-service that is going to happen. You are going to have to sacrifice something in your life and let go of it that is disturbing you from moving on. If your life is in danger physically, you are going to ever remember how to protect yourself, and the least thing you are going to think about is the next person next to you. So relationships between friends, between couples, between parents and everything, they all get severed when push comes to shove. There is always a moment of breakdown in every human being's life, whether it is earlier in their life or later in their life, where they are questioning whether they even actually lived a life of their own choice. So I hope this leaves you with a bit of a thought as to how to think about couples relationships, friendship relationships, partners relationships, and not get yourself all fixated, and try to remember yourselves, be introspective, ask yourselves questions more often, and move on building your life, because at the final bed rest, somebody is going to ask you a simple question: who are you? Who were you? What did you stand for? Are you going to live a life again? Do you want to renew yourself again? So, yeah, a lot of people find themselves in very drastic situations emotionally, in a depressive state. And you need to get yourself back up, because life demands every day is a new day. The sun rises, the sun sets, and it's the same thing for every human being. You wake up on your own, you were born alone, and you're going to pass away alone, unfortunately to say. And it's between you, your personality, your beliefs, your faiths, and hopefully we can all leave this world with a smile. Startup City, Boa speaking.